Okay, ever feel that pressure piling up at work? You know, deadlines, those big presentations. The boss is like right there over your shoulder.
Yeah.
Now imagine that, but like your office is a spaceship
Oh, yeah.
hurtling around the Earth
Yeah.
at like 17,500 miles an hour.
Wow.
And the coffee machine breaks. I mean, that's a lot more than just a caffeine headache, right?
That's a big problem.
So we're going to look at handling pressure like some real pros by looking at astronauts.
Nice.
We're going to be using Chris Hadfield's book, An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth.
Awesome.
He really takes us behind the scenes. You know, what's it like to actually live and work in space?
Right.
And it turns out there's a ton we can learn
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
that we can apply to our own lives right here.
Totally.
So first of all, life on the International Space Station.
Yeah.
Not a walk in the park.
It's not a vacation.
So you're in this tiny little space, constantly surrounded by this like humming machinery.
Right.
Not a lot of privacy.
No. And the food, let's be honest, the food is not great.
Yeah. Not exactly five-star dining.
Not at all.
And just getting there, that's a whole other thing.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine being crammed in this little Soyuz spacecraft.
Oh, my gosh.
It only has like 265 cubic feet of space,
Tiny.
which is actually less than a Dodge Caravan.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you're in there with two other people,
Oh, boy.
and then you blast off.
Oh, yeah.
Like
yeah.
being slammed by an 18-wheeler going full speed.
I can't even imagine.
And once you're up there, you have to be so resourceful.
Right.
The nearest handyman is thousands of miles away.
Yeah, good point.
Everything is high stakes, you know.
Absolutely.
Got to rely on your training and your crewmates
Sure.
to handle whatever comes up.
That's all you got.
All right, so let's get into Chris Hadfield's secrets to staying cool.
Okay, let's hear it.
Secret number 1 might surprise you. Ditch the rose-colored glasses.
Really? I thought it was all about positive thinking.
You would think, right?
Yeah.
But it's not that simple. So it's not about ignoring the negative or pretending everything is fine.
So what is it?
Hadfield says you have to, like, actively confront those risks.
Okay.
The what-ifs,
Yeah.
the things that could go
I mean,
wrong.
scary stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of, oh, it'll all work out,
Right.
you have to be more proactive.
I see.
So Hadfield talks about asking yourself, what's the next thing that could kill me?
Whoa. That's intense.
It does sound a bit morbid,
Yeah.
but it's actually really smart
Okay, I'm listening.
because you're thinking ahead.
Right.
You're identifying those problems and you're coming up with solutions before they even happen.
So you're always one step ahead.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it.
Instead of just hoping for the best, you're preparing for the worst,
Makes sense.
but still aiming for success.
Right.
It's a powerful shift.
It is.
Okay, so we've identified what could go wrong now. How do we prepare for it?
Yeah, how do we actually do that?
That's secret number 2. Obsess over the details.
Okay, so not just think about it, but really get into it.
Yeah, astronauts don't just think about it.
Right.
They practice. They run through simulations again and again
Oh, wow.
until they can respond without even thinking about it.
Like second nature.
Exactly.
Wow.
Even under pressure.
That's amazing.
So, Hadfield talks about training for fires on the International Space Station.
Fires in space, that's a whole other thing.
Right. A fire in space is totally different from a fire here.
Yeah. Why is that?
Well, there's no gravity.
Oh, right.
So the flames, they behave in crazy ways.
Oh, wow. I never thought about that.
A floating fire.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. So they have to simulate these scenarios.
Right.
Practice their responses.
Yeah.
Figure out what works.
Sure.
And build up that muscle memory
Okay.
so that if it happens for real, they don't panic.
Wow. So they've already been there, done that.
In a way, yeah.
Even if it was just practice.
Exactly.
That's so smart.
Hadfield calls this level of preparation permissible cheating.
Permissible cheating. I love that.
Right.
Like, you're getting a sneak peek at the test. I like it.
And this isn't just about surviving a crisis.
Right.
It's about being really detail-oriented in everything you do,
Okay.
mastering the fundamentals,
Got it.
no matter how small they seem.
Right.
It's about that dedication to excellence.
Yeah.
And that's in every astronaut,
Really?
no matter what their personality is like.
Interesting.
Whether they're naturally detail-oriented or not,
Right.
it's about practice.
Yeah. Anyone can learn it.
That's really inspiring.
It is.
So we've talked about anticipating those problems, practicing those solutions.
Right.
But what happens when something totally unexpected happens?
Oh, like a curveball?
Yeah, something that wasn't in the training manual.
Ah.
That's where secret number 3 comes in.
Okay, what's that?
Working the problem.
Working the problem. It's a system astronauts use when things go wrong, when the unexpected happens.
So no panicking, even when you're in a spaceship millions of miles from home and something breaks.
Exactly. Panicking just makes it harder to think clearly. Working the problem means staying calm, looking at the situation, figuring out what to do step by step.
Even when everything's going crazy.
Yeah, it's all about staying cool,
Yeah.
figuring out what's most important, and finding solutions.
So it's a very structured way to solve problems.
Yeah, even in emergencies.
But it's not just for emergencies, right?
No, it could be like a tool breaks or the mission changes suddenly.
So like if you're on a spacewalk and something goes wrong with your equipment.
That's a good example.
Yeah.
You're out there tethered to the station, but you're exposed to space.
Oh, man. I'm getting nervous just thinking about it.
Time is critical. You got to think fast.
So what do you do?
First, breathe. Stay calm.
Okay.
Figure out what's going on, what's wrong, what tools you have, and what happens if you do nothing.
So like a mental checklist.
Right, then you start thinking of solutions.
And that's where the team comes in.
Exactly. You're not alone. You've got your crewmates back on the station and mission control on Earth.
Everyone working together.
Right. You tell them what's happening, you share what you see, and everyone analyzes the situation.
So you might have engineers on the ground running simulations trying to figure out a workaround.
Exactly. And your crewmates are getting backup equipment ready or coming up with a plan B.
It's amazing how much support astronauts have.
It is, and it shows how important preparation and teamwork are.
So they train for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, not just as individuals, but as a team.
They learn to communicate really well, understand each other, and work together under pressure.
It's like that permissible cheating we talked about.
Right, so even unexpected problems feel familiar.
Exactly, and that brings us to the human side of handling pressure.
Because even astronauts are human.
Of course, they get stressed, they get tired, they miss their families.
So how do they handle that emotional side of living in such an extreme environment?
That's where Hadfield's ideas about teamwork and people skills come in.
Right.
He talks about being a +1, someone who makes the team better.
So it's not just about knowing the technical stuff, but being a good teammate, someone people can count on.
That's it. And that's true whether you're on a space mission or working on a project here.
So be reliable,
Yeah,
do what you say you'll do, and don't cause drama.
exactly. And it all starts with being self-aware, knowing your strengths and weaknesses and how you affect others.
So understanding your role on the team and finding ways to contribute.
Yeah, whether it's helping someone sharing what you know or just being supportive.
I bet those little things go a long way in a stressful place like the space station.
Absolutely. A little humor, being a good listener, helping with even small tasks. Those things keep morale up and make the team stronger.
So it's not just about those big heroic moments, but the everyday stuff,
Huh.
the small things that make a team resilient.
You got it. And those small things often make the biggest difference in the long run, whether you're in space or just dealing with life.
It's inspiring to think that even in these crazy environments, it's those human connections, those moments of shared humanity that help people thrive under pressure.
It really is. And it reminds us that no matter how tough things get, we're not alone. We have each other and we can get through it together.
That's a powerful message, especially now when so many people feel overwhelmed and alone.
I agree. And that's why Hadfield's book is so important. It reminds us that even when things seem impossible, we have the strength to adapt, to overcome, and to succeed.
So it's not just about astronauts in space. It's about us here and now.
Exactly. It's about finding that inner astronaut, that courage, that resilience, that resourcefulness we all have inside.
And maybe if we all learn from astronauts, we can handle pressure, better face challenges with more grace, and support each other along the way.
I think you're right.
You know, it's amazing how much we can learn from astronauts.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's not just about space, it's about life in general.
Right.
One thing that really stood out to me in Hadfield's book
Yeah.
is how important it is to always keep learning.
To be a student of life.
Exactly. He actually calls astronauts perpetual students,
I love that.
which makes total sense.
It does.
What does he mean by that?
Well, it means they never stop being curious. They never stop trying to learn new things, even after all the training and experience they've had.
Because in space, you can't get complacent, right?
No way. The stakes are too high. Things are always changing. You got to be able to adapt and learn new things all the time.
And that's a good lesson for everyone, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It doesn't matter what you do for a living or what your goals are. That mindset of always learning will help you so much.
So how can we be more like those perpetual students?
I think it starts with curiosity, just being curious about the world, asking questions, trying new things, getting out of your comfort zone.
It's about having that sense of wonder and being open to new possibilities.
Exactly. And it's also about being humble. You know, admitting that you don't know everything and being okay with being wrong sometimes.
Because we all make mistakes, right?
We do. It's part of learning. It's how we grow.
Instead of seeing mistakes as failures, We should see them as opportunities to learn and get better.
That's a great way to look at it, and don't be afraid to ask for feedback.
Oh yeah, feedback is so important.
It is. It helps you see your blind spots and figure out what you need to work on.
Whether it's from a mentor, a coworker, a friend, or even someone who's not a fan.
Right. Be open to constructive criticism. Use it to improve.
And be willing to share your own knowledge, too.
Yes, teaching is one of the best ways to learn.
Because when you explain something to someone else, it forces you to really understand it.
Exactly, and it helps you find those gaps in your own knowledge.
So we learn from others, and we teach others.
It's a two-way street.
We all grow together.
Like that saying, if you want to go fast, go alone.
But if you want to go far,
go together.
Exactly. And that brings us back to teamwork.
Right. Continuous learning isn't just about you, it's about everyone.
We learn from each other. We help each other. We inspire each other.
And that sense of shared purpose, that feeling of working towards something together is so powerful.
And astronauts really get that.
They do. They know that they can't succeed without the whole team, everyone from the engineers to the crewmates.
We're all connected.
We are.
And what we do can affect everyone around us.
That's right. One last thing, Hadfield said that even after all his training, when he finally launched into space, he felt relief, not stress.
Wow. Why is that?
Because he was so prepared, the unknown had become known. He knew what to expect. He had a plan, and he trusted his team.
So handling pressure isn't about making it disappear. It's about controlling what you can, learning from what you can't, and facing the unknown with confidence.
Exactly. And if we can learn to do that like astronauts do, maybe we can all handle the challenges of life a little better and achieve amazing things together.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Chris Hadfield's book.
It was my pleasure.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep reaching for the stars.